Did you go down to DC with Bart Watson?
I did. Yeah, that was an awesome time. And
how was he?
He's great. I mean, the first hill climb in DC that I went to was in 2019, and I remember him giving the economic update. And so it was really cool to see him as in his new position, leading the BOP.
He was the perfect person to take over because he understood everything. He was teaching everybody.
He's brilliant. Yeah. He is a wealth of knowledge. Nobody knows numbers like that man. Nope. So we had 8 meetings with the Pennsylvania delegation that day.
Cool.
But the very first meeting of the day, Bart Watson joined us, and we're walking over to whatever I don't know. I can't remember the name, Rayburn, whatever the building was. And I realized he was not just walking with us, but he was going into this meeting with us. I'm like, Bart? Really?
Well,
okay, like, what?
Welcome back to the Brew That Podcast. I'm your host, Richie Tevlin, joined as always by Evan Blum.
Hello.
So before we get started, what's the point of having a podcast and a platform if you're not going to say something? There is a brewery, an unnamed brewery in Philadelphia that is, I feel like, copying a lot of stuff that I'm doing. And I just want to be out in the public that's saying I don't agree with it and I'm not happy about it. And there was an article in the Philly Voice today talking about how similar our brands were. And I asked them not to do it about 8 months ago. I had met with these people like a year ago, giving them some help. And all is well, like as breweries we're very open, but like kind of the creative side of my brand where like I'm trying to tell stories with a character and a mascot, it's just very blatantly copied to the point where the Philly Voice actually wrote an article today about how similar they were. And I don't like it. It's like I'm not happy about it. Like we are very open. Like I met with these people and kind of gave them help, and I just felt kind of like betrayed. And I hope that they hear this. I'm not going to call out their name because I'm not about that. But that's all I got to say. But vibe shift. Welcome, Hannah Ison. I'm sorry we had to start off like that, but I just needed to get it off my chest.
Fair enough.
But Hannah Ison, the newly elected executive director of the Brewers of Pennsylvania and head of production at Zeroday Brewing. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Thank you for coming. I know it's a hike down here.
It is.
It's a hike, and you've been kind of everywhere, it feels like, of recently.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of traveling with these gigs. So.
Yeah. I mean, you have so much going on. Like when we were doing research kind of into you, like we kind of look into everybody. I didn't realize, I knew you were on Cheers PA, but I didn't realize how massive that was. So I definitely want to talk about that. But blow our numbers out of the water. You have like hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube on all your videos. It's insane.
Yeah. It really took off. That was awesome.
Yes. They're great videos. But I guess with everyone, kind of start from the beginning. So like where does your craft beer journey begin?
Yeah. So my craft beer journey really begins in Harrisburg. I moved to Harrisburg 10 years ago. This year, which is wild. I was working in politics. My degree's in political science.
Were you working at Save the Bay?
I was, yes. I was working for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Yeah, they're awesome. And my job was to try to help people connect more to their rivers and streams in Pennsylvania and understand how it was a part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed.
Yeah.
It was a lot of community organizing and grassroots direct conversation. It was a really awesome organization to work for. There wasn't a lot of upward mobility. And I decided in 2016 I graduated college with a political science degree in 2013. So after 3 years of doing the political advocacy thing, something happened. Yeah, something happened in 2016 and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I was spending a lot of time at my local brewery, and I was still kind of new to craft beer. I mean, I love Miller High Life. That's kind of what I drank in college if I was drinking beer. And so it wasn't until the very end of college where I started discovering craft beer. And I found it to be a super welcoming community from the very beginning. I had no idea what I was drinking, but bartenders, brewers, anybody who worked at the place or people who were drinking at those breweries, they would help me navigate a menu of words that I didn't know what they meant as a newbie. And then, but working in politics, you are forced into new environments constantly. Before I moved to Harrisburg, I had lived in 5 states in the 18 months before I moved to Harrisburg. It was just constantly moving around, going from place to place, setting up offices, tearing them down, doing it over again out west, in New York, all over. And I decided that I couldn't keep bouncing around like that. I needed something a little more stable. So that's how I found the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. It was still organizing and advocacy work, but it was for water. I love kayaking, I love paddleboarding, I love all water sports and very connected to water. And so I thought it would be a great fit. I moved to Harrisburg from Kentucky, which is where I'm from, knowing absolutely nobody. And the way that I found out more about my community was through a brewery.
Yeah.
The brewery was 1 block away from my office, and it was 1 block away from my apartment. So I literally passed it every single day.
Were you working in the Capitol building?
I wasn't working at the Capitol. I was working, it's in the Midtown neighborhood of Harrisburg. So it's like half a mile from the Capitol.
Got it.
But we worked a lot with DEP, and I was down there a lot. But yeah, that just kind of became my watering hole and where I started meeting friends and neighbors and found out all of the cool places to go listen to music and what are the cool restaurants.
Was this Zeroday?
It was.
Okay.
Zeroday opened in 2015 and they opened in April. I moved to Harrisburg in October. So they had been open.
Very new.
They were very new. I didn't see the very beginning, but I was there 6 months into that.
Yeah.
And I became a regular very quickly. You don't make a ton of money very early on in your political career. So I spent way more money than I should have at oh gosh, already.
I think she was just saying hello. Was saying what's up.
Okay. So you don't make a lot of money very early on in your political career, but I became a regular at this craft brewery, and I would literally count my dollars. I was paid biweekly, and I was like, how many beers can I get? How long can I sit here?
The ABV dollar math.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. So then after about a year of hanging out there, they decided to open another day of the week. They needed a Tuesday bartender, but they wanted it to be someone who wasn't solely relying on that source of income. It was a brand new day of the week. They didn't know how business was going to be.
Yeah.
They wanted someone to kind of build that up and make it their own night. Very part-time person. So I spent enough time there, got to know everybody.
You probably knew all the beers.
Knew all the beers very well. And then
you want an employee discount the rest of the days.
Exactly. They asked me if I wanted a job, and I said, how much of a discount do I get? And they're like, well, shifties are free. Okay, cool. I'll do this then. I'll work for beer. But I worked for, it was a great supplemental source of income. And then that Tuesday night shift turned into I was spending my weekends there. Then it became picking up shifts during the week and trying to balance my full-time job with that. And then I started asking a lot of questions about the brewing process. During that first year, the owner of Zeroday was still working his full-time job, so most of the brewing was happening at night when the tap room was open.
Brewing?
He was brewing, yep.
Cool.
So he would be brewing while we were working, and I kept finding myself asking all kinds of process questions. I really wanted to know what was going on with the product that I was serving.
Yeah.
I knew what I liked to drink, but I didn't know that much about it. And so I started asking a lot of questions, and then I started asking if I could help. And a lot of times there was no help needed, but then sometimes there was. When he needed to pull an entire Christmas tree out of a beer kettle for the first time, this has now become an annual thing that we do. Yes. So we put a Christmas tree in the
Not a pine needles. You put the entire Christmas tree.
Christmas tree, 6 foot. It has to be 6 foot minimum.
It's funny because in the beer community, like, you could say something like that, and it's like, yeah or no. Like, maybe, like, you definitely.
And it's also funny, like, people say, especially way back when, like, the West Coast IPAs, like, tastes like they put a Christmas tree in here.
Yeah. So we literally, this is a saison, and we still make it every year. But this was the first year that he had this crazy idea to go to Lowe's, I think, and buy a Christmas tree and put it in and make this Christmas tree beer. Now we've turned it into this annual tradition where we take the whole team out to a farm and we go and taste. We literally taste the different trees because they actually taste very different.
Really?
Yeah. Some are like really lemony. Some are more piney, soapy. So we really try to find the one that has all of the flavors we're going for. Which sounds crazy, and then we have our Christmas party after that. But we usually go harvest our Christmas tree at the beginning of November, brew a saison, and shove the whole tree in the kettle. But I think that was the first time I technically ever helped in the brewery. I just heard all this grunting and these noises, and I couldn't not go back there. And I said, I'm going to help you get this tree out of this vat.
Yeah.
And after that, like, I put the work in,
Yeah.
I'm here. I don't care if I'm covered in sticky pine needles. I'm ready to work. And then after that, it was just more and more questions. And that next spring, they got to a point where they needed someone else working in the brewery. And they knew that I was kind of looking for my next move in the political world, and I wasn't really finding the right thing. So they said, would you consider brewing? And I said, I've never brewed a batch of beer before. I have no idea. I love beer. I care about beer. I want to know everything about beer, but I am not smart enough to make beer. They said, you are smart and you can learn how to do anything. And so I took a chance on myself. I quit my full-time job. I went all into a training program there on site at Zeroday a few days a week as in a brewer in training. And I was still bartending. That was supplementing everything. And then it took about 5 to 6 months. And then I was brewing full-time on my own.
And this was 2018, 2019?
This would have been 2017.
Okay.
2017,
cool.
Yeah. It was May of 2017 when I started there full-time brewing.
And how big is the team at this point? Like how big is your deck? Because you guys have a bunch of locations, right?
Yeah, we have 4 retail locations. At this point, we just had the one tap room.
Yeah.
And we were probably putting out 500 barrels a year. I mean, it was all, we had a few draft accounts, like on-premise accounts, but we were not distributing, we weren't canning.
Yeah.
I don't think we put beer in cans until it was either 2018 or 2019. We were doing mobile canning then, but yeah, so I worked my way up to learn how to make a beer on my own. A lot of tears, a lot of studying, a lot of learning from other people. Part of my training program was to go brew with home brewers, go brew with other brewers. And so I got to sit at the table for a bunch of different collaborations, even early on as a baby brewer. And I was sitting at the table with the owners of PATroegs and the owners of Appalachian Brewing Company, these pioneers in the area in central Pennsylvania for craft beer, and asking questions and getting to see their systems. And it was basically diving in. I had no idea what I was doing, but I dove in. And then I also started connecting with all of the organizations that I could. So I became a part of the BOP. I became a part of the Master Brewers Association very early on because I knew nothing.
Were you in the Pink Boots? Is there Pink Boots in Harrisburg?
So there's not a Pink Boots in Harrisburg. I did join Pink Boots in 2017, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me to get to chapter meetings, it means coming out here.
Yeah,
And
got it.
everyone's like, oh, you should create a chapter. But I wear a lot of hats already. I see, and there are a lot of women in the industry, but there aren't as many women in production in central Pennsylvania. I think I can.
It would also been a lot of work. You would have had to spin up a chapter, not just like, join and help out there.
Right. Yeah. I have not had the capacity to create a chapter of that. However, it is a wonderful organization with a lot of resources, and I am technically a part of it, but I don't make it to a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
I did make it to the collaboration brew day at Human Robot though this year, which was so much fun and so cool.
Nice.
And the beer was so good. We brewed a West Coast Pilsner. Learned some new techniques that we might have used in our own collaboration beer, but I told them I was going to do that. I said, is it okay? We're literally brewing this for our 717 collab, and I love this hop dip thing. Is it okay? They said, that's the whole point of collab.
Yeah.
We're sharing these. Someone else showed us, someone from California. So
Did somebody from you guys brew day, did someone from Yakima Chief come out?
here in Philly?
Yeah, for the Human Robot one. That might have been something else they did.
Yeah, no, I didn't meet anybody from Yakima.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. That's very long-winded. I got into brewing from asking questions and drinking a lot of craft beer and being around, and I basically feel the same today as I did 8 years ago. I know nothing, and I'm trying to learn from everybody. So
the more you know, the more you don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think the best brewers are the people who are constantly in pursuit of the next lesson they can learn. As soon as you think that you know everything, you're done.
Yeah. And the brewing industry, especially like the styles, everything changes all the time. Like what we're brewing now, they were brewing it 20 years ago. And
Right.
then we're going to have to relearn how to brew bitter IPAs in the next 5 to 10 years. And then hazy IPAs 10 years after that. It's just constant changing and churning.
Yep. But it's fun. And there's these new techniques and a lot of new ingredients too that you can use now. So all the new extracts, and it's fun to take those older styles and then see how you can change them with these modern techniques and ingredients and things like that. But yeah, so I'm still a brewer, but I would consider myself a desk brewer at this point. I'm hardly ever on the brew deck.
How many people are on your team?
We have 3 full-time people in the brewery, including myself, and then our owner. So I guess there's 4 people on the production team.
Cool.
But there's one person who makes
All the work.
all of the work and does most stuff in the brewery.
Yeah.
I am the facilitator. I'm the office mom. I plan the production schedule, order all the ingredients.
You do all the hard stuff.
I do the
fun
boring stuff. But I love the word facilitate because it's not just all of the coordination of day to day, and I really see it as choreographing what's happening in the brewery. But I love facilitating when cool ideas are being brought to me, and then being able to help them come to life and push them along, because there's a lot of stuff that has to happen to make this new concept come to life.
Definitely.
And I think that's where I get most excited about my job at this point. We are brewing a lot more beer now, And there is a need for me to be back on the production floor more than there has been in the last year. So
I always found that when I was doing desk work, I was like, I need to get back to be brewing. And then like when I was actually brewing and be like, I'm tired of scrubbing tanks. Let me just sit down on a computer for a little bit.
yeah. Yeah.
It's probably nice to have a little bit of balance though.
Balance is everything. That is what I'm looking for in every recipe that I help design or design. That is what I'm looking for in my life as I navigate 2 jobs that are very similar, as in they're in the same industry, but they are completely different.
Yeah. And you're kind of back in politics now.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So now it just comes full circle. I mean, I'm this desk brewer still working in the brewery every day. Super excited if she gets to make a batch of beer. And now I am the executive director of the Brewers of Pennsylvania, this organization that I joined way back when I first started brewing. I think I went to my first BOP meeting before I was even in production.
This episode of the Brewdat podcast is brought to you by Zilka & Co., your trusted regional brewing supply partner. Family owned for over 100 years of business, Zilka Brewing Supply has recently partnered with Breweries to bring you your favorite raw materials at a great price with $5 flat rate shipping. No pallet or liftgate charges thanks to their own fleet of regularly maintained trucks. With locations in Allentown and Hunker and a technical brewer on staff, they provide the expertise and service your brewery deserves. Reach out to Brad Adelson in the show notes and let him know Brewdat sent you.
So, when I went to the first Brewers Pennsylvania meeting at Yards, that's the first BOP meeting I went to. That, like most people show up for BOP at least, it's mostly owners and managers.
Yeah.
They're owners, but I feel like Zeroday had a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
You said you had been involved. Like, do you guys always bring your full team there?
We have always brought a few people.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of started when I came onto, I guess not even production, but just onto the team. I think we might have done that because of my background in politics and the owners just thinking like, oh, this will help you feel connected to this thing that you have studied for so long. But we see value in bringing different people from different sides of the business to try to
they
get
see
that
stuff and
content.
I've been to so many NBA meetings. I've been to some of the Pink Boots meetings, even like when they do like the open meetings. And the BOP meeting was it was just different information. The other ones are like just technical brewing information or like kind of general, business information. This was like how to run your business, what's happening in the industry,
how to sell more merch, what this data means.
Stuff that we wasn't even thinking, or that I wasn't, not that I wasn't thinking about, like, you don't get that type of knowledge, like shared knowledge at these other meetings.
A lot of stuff for sales and front of house taproom managers could really benefit by coming to those things. But I think that just going into planning these next few meetings, I really want to try to consider the scope of all of those things and really try to push a model that helps people bring more than just the owners to it.
Yeah.
It helps everybody understand and buy in, I think, a bit more so, especially if they have the time. Like, obviously, everybody's limited resource.
I think when you're just like a brewer, obviously you're always disgruntled because brewers don't get paid enough. Right. But when you don't understand like how the business operates, it's just a giant black box. You're like, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting treated like this? And it's not because the owners, the managers are like trying to suppress you. It's like that is just how the world works. That's how the numbers work. And I think if there was more clarity on that, it would kind of.
No, that's a really good point. I always thought about it as resources available to a bunch of different people, but I hadn't thought of.
She said she's getting a bit bored and wants to watch a different movie.
Okay.
Sorry.
But my parents are at the dinner de Planck or whatever.
What is that?
It's It's like a dinner where like everyone just shows up and wears white.
The Philly?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that side of it where getting to see all of those different sides of it from your own individual perspective could really open up your eyes to the business as a whole, because we do end up so siloed and stuck in our ways and frustrated about what's.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways. It's not
Yeah.
like the people that are not the owners are not worried about how much money the business is making.
Right.
And when they can kind of see that, it's just more eyes on it. More people are thinking about it. Like how can we make our business better, more efficient? You know, get more money in.
Yeah. But then on the other side of that, people end up starting to care about all that stuff, and then they start wearing all these hats and they're like, I'm burned out. And
yeah, definitely.
I've found myself in that way too many times.
Yeah.
I think so many of us do that in this industry. We're like, we care and we want to help as much as we can. And we do, and we do, and we do. And then all of a sudden
Crash out.
we're like, wait, my job,
Yeah.
my job is this thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, structure. Structure is important.
Definitely. So you were kind of like working your way up at Zeroday, and now you're kind of the head of production. But for Brewers of Pennsylvania, you were on the board right before that?
Yes, I was on the board of directors for a year and a half. And then I had been on the legislative committee, I think since 2020. I think
Cool.
2020 is when I joined the legislative committee.
Cool.
So been involved in some capacity besides an attendee for the last 5 years.
So for people that don't know what the Brewers of Pennsylvania is, like kind of a trade organization. So we have the meetings where we learn about stuff, but then you guys also act as like an advocacy group.
Yeah.
Or like what would you guys call yourself?
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit where our job is to preserve, protect, and advance the rights of Pennsylvania brewers.
Yeah.
We try to expand the rights as much as we can so that people can run their businesses in a malleable way.
Yeah.
This landscape is ever changing and crazy, and Pennsylvania is a very friendly state to make beer in.
Definitely, yeah.
There have been so many wonderful things that the BOP has pushed over the last 2 decades. No, it hasn't been 2 decades. Hold on. 2011. Okay. Yeah.
That's almost 2 decades.
Yeah,
What is that? What year is it? 14 years?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There have been so many things that the BOP has pushed through, helped advance in the last 14 years and through their advocacy. And it's really helped breweries come into a really favorable space where they can run their business in a way that makes sense. I mean, when the BOP was formed, you couldn't sell beer at a tap room. You could only give away samples. And so much has been done. Self-distribution rights are a blessing in this state. There are just so many unique and different ways that you can run your business here. And it is a very favorable state to open a brewery in. We have a lot of breweries. I think that because of so much of the work that has been done, I think a lot of people might not understand the significance. Why does this organization matter? But we're also protecting a lot of those rights. And the stronger that we are, the more members that we have, the more voices that we can say, this affects all of us. And we can make sure that we don't let those rights get taken away. And we can also expand on them. There are a lot of awesome things in the works too that will really help businesses keep running in that malleable way, especially when we're looking at markets shifting and trends and what consumers want to drink shifting.
Yeah.
Just really trying to make it favorable for breweries to act as beverage manufacturers.
It's not just like, trying to get the laws in place now, but like the marketplace is changing, and then you're like, how does the marketplace affected by that? You know, like in just the last 5 years, I feel like craft beer, especially in Pennsylvania, got to this point where like we were in a great spot, and then all of a sudden there's RTDs, there's weed, there's like gambling, there's all these things that like have direct impacts on craft beer and like huge industries here, and it's like three things all happening at once. How do we handle that?
Yeah.
And you know, politicians, they're looking out for us, but like what do they know about the specifics of, you know, the brewing industry?
Right. And that's why it matters that they see, oh, this organization has so many people behind it, so many businesses who are impacted by these laws. So we spend a lot of time with that direct communication, but the more businesses that we have collectively supporting that, it makes it a much stronger push.
Definitely. Did you go down to DC with Bart Watson?
I did. Yeah, that was an awesome time. And
how was he?
he's great. I mean, the first hill climb in DC that I went to was in 2019, and I remember him giving the economic update. And so it was really cool to see him as in his new position, leading the BOP.
He was the perfect person to take over because he understood everything. He was teaching everybody like
he's brilliant. He is a wealth of knowledge. Nobody knows numbers like that man.
So
does.
he's an economist that was working for the BA, which is like the national BOP,
and he became
like the head of the BA. But like the information that he gives is just like these like macro industry insights into like what is happening in the industry as far as like whether it be like tariffs or like the rising prices of, you know, different goods, or whether different parts of the industry are like growing and like what that means. And now he's in charge of the entire organization.
So we had 8 meetings with the Pennsylvania delegation that day.
Cool.
7 with members of Congress, and then 1. Well, they're all members. We had 8 meetings that day with the Pennsylvania delegation.
Yeah.
1 with Senator Fetterman, and then the rest were with congressmen.
Yeah.
But the very first meeting of the day, Bart Watson joined us, and we're walking over to whatever I don't know. I can't remember the name, Rayburn, whatever the building was. And I realized he was not just walking with us, but he was going into this meeting with us. And I'm like, Bart, really?
Well,
okay. Like,
it's like we're the second largest state, right, for craft beer? So
yeah. He was like, well, I haven't had a chance to meet this person. And I was like, are you checking up on me? I'm trying. I'm new. But yeah, we're really, our relationship with the BA is really cool. We have one of our BOP board members, he's our vice president. He's also on the board of directors for the Brewers Association.
Who's that?
Jason Lavery from Lavery Brewing up in Erie.
Cool.
He's like way far away from where we are right now in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long it takes to get here. But that is a direct line of communication.
Cool.
And it's been really awesome. I have so much respect for him, watching him run his brewery, run his business, run the brewery, and then also navigate all of these extracurricular things that really matter as far as advocacy work. I mean, he is really someone that has balance and does a really good job. I really respect him as a leader in all of those facets. He's, with being on the board, they're heavily into planning CBC right now. And Craft Brewers Conference happens once a year. It's coming to Philadelphia.
We're ready.
In 2026. So we're super excited, but he's working on stuff. I'm working on stuff. We're trying really hard to make sure that Pennsylvania brewers are showing up and able to get there, and that it's going to be a really, really cool time. Like we want to show off Philadelphia.
Definitely. I mean, that's kicking off next year's Summer Philadelphia tour with everything happening here.
So much is happening here. It's insane.
Yeah. That was So a couple of things. So the BOP and like CBC, like that's a huge for tourism, and that was two of the things that were eye opening to me at the first BOP meeting. Was like how much, it sounds stupid, like how much politics are, like how involved we are, and like how much that affects us, and then how much tourism affects us also. Like as a small brewery, I'm not, with my blinders on, I'm not thinking about that. Like how do I get this person down the street from me? But it's like it's really like the tourism is driving like a lot of that industry.
Yeah. It really is. And that was the whole premise of Cheers PA, was to promote tourism through the lens of craft beer. So
all right, so transition to Cheers PA. So you have Cheers PA. Your YouTube channel has like, you know, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of viewers on it. And you were the host of it. I was like looking up like, oh, Hannah was on this? Like, no, Hannah is the host of this.
It was so much fun. I hope we keep doing it. I loved it. Yeah,
and that was through a grant, right? So we've had Nate was on with Port and PA, and then kind of like the same grant is just like how the state is enticing people to like tourists to come visit breweries in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's through the beer board, and it really is trying to promote tourism through the lens of craft beer.
And right, that money's coming from a portion of like the alcohol taxes, right, that we're paying?
Honestly, I don't know. I know it's part of the state budget. I don't know where.
When we had Josh Shapiro on, we were it was a lot of going back and forth, like what questions we could ask this guy. And it was like I was asking like, can we get into like taxes? Like people want to know like where the tax money, and they're like, we don't talk about that. And it's like the, you know, how transparent, I guess, like probably the government's like, we're not saying exactly where this money's going, because then everyone's going to say like, no, you should go here and here and here.
Oh yeah, no, I honestly have no idea. I don't know. I would hope it.
I know there's
a full circle thing like that, but I
know
really
there's
don't
some
know.
taxes like I think betting goes to schools. I think maybe. I think there's some taxes that goes to specific things.
I know that like in Colorado, all of the marijuana tax was originally set up to go to schools.
Okay.
So that is definitely a thing, but I don't know that much about the revenue side of the state budget. Maybe I should, but I don't know. I have so many things in my brain.
Yeah.
So many. But yeah, Cheers PA was a really cool way to connect with so many breweries across the state. I mean, there's so much travel involved with it. The whole idea was to try to cover as much of the state as we could. And the first season we did it based on beer trails. So we made sure we hit every single beer trail
Cool.
at that time, which I think was in 2021.
Yeah.
Now
Were there?
I think we did 12. Okay. So every single beer trail that was state funded. Honestly, I don't know what the breakdown of it was, but I think there were 12 to 15. This next time we didn't have those parameters set, but we still tried to get to the different regions of the state. And it's just really fun to use a brewery as an anchor point, which is kind of like what I do in my real life travels anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to this brewery. What else is there to do around here? Mm-hmm. And then I'm talking. A lot of times I'm not looking at a map. I'm a map nerd. I love maps. But a lot of times I'm going into that brewery and I'm saying, what do you do? What do you like to do? Talking to the regulars, talking to the bartenders, talking to the owners, and just figuring out where to go and what to do. And that was kind of how we approached the second season of Cheers PA was, where's a place that we're going to go? What story are we trying to tell? And then what else do we do around here? And we got into some really good stories. I mean, there were episodes where I was crying. There are episodes where people I was interviewing were crying. It was not in a bad way, just they became very emotional, people telling their stories. And I don't think we ever aired any of the tears, but they did happen. I mean, it was...
If anyone wants to come on here and cry, you're very welcome to.
It just got so raw. It was so good. And I love it. I love that project. I hope that if anybody from the state is listening, that they will fund us next year for the next go around, because it's very near and dear to my heart. And
You're a really good host. Have you done hosting like that before? Like you were very natural in front of the camera, and is it not that it's not natural, but like talking the way you're talking, where you're like walking, looking at the camera and talking, has to be so awkward.
So awkward when they're like, no, you have to walk. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And a lot of times the interview part was all off script. None of that was scripted, but those intros and outros, those were scripted, but I wouldn't get a lot of them till the day of. So I'm like standing there in front of this brewery trying to memorize what cars are zooming by or trains
People
are
looking
honking.
at
I'm
you.
like,
I'm trying to make like Instagram reels with like the green screen, and I can only do it when nobody else is in my house. It's like they're looking at you as you're trying to talk, and it's like, this is uncomfortable.
yeah. I somehow in the second season, I just completely got over that. And I was like, all right, I got this. But I definitely gained, if you watch the first season versus the second season, I became so much more confident that second season.
Yeah.
The first season, I was a new mom, very postpartum. Every time I had to travel, I had to bring a pump. I'm walking, like, leaving my nursing child, and just so out of my element. But I'm like, this is a second source of income. I must do this. I've got to do what I've got to do. And then the second season of it, which was 2 years later, I was so much more into a rhythm with her and how our flow is, and had some really awesome people supporting us. And yeah, I wasn't worried about anything else, and I was just very present. And that I learned the second season that I need to make a point to get to know these people before I'm asking them to share their story. And just that a lot of times it had to be a debrief before, as I would get there an hour before, and then we're debriefing, we're talking, whatever. But a lot of times it was getting to know them even before the day of. And
so then, like, when you're recording, Anthony Bourdain used to do that. I mean, his show was like, everyone loves it, but it used to be like, there's no recording. We're just hanging out. And then, like, somewhere along the line, the cameras just come out naturally. And then at that point, everyone just feels like very much like it's just part of the story.
You find that rhythm. And that was how, by the, I guess, middle of that second season, I realized just spending those few minutes beforehand, really trying to figure out how we're going to connect, really made a really big difference. And instead of just showing up there completely cold, like, who are you? Like, but yeah, which is great. I'm glad I got to meet you guys before we did this, like we have.
I will shout out Richie too, because Richie does a ton of like research prior to like understanding the guests, and like,
you're easy. You have a lot of information on you online. There's
That's so scary.
good stuff like interviews and like the videos and everything. But there's some people I'm like, dude, I Googled you. I like went to like internet sleuth mode, and I could not find anything about these people.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard because you're like digging. When you're digging, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking through like, podcasts they did like 8 years ago, and it's like you can barely hear what they're saying because the producer's so bad. It's just like, all right, I guess we'll see how tonight goes.
Yeah, I have to shout out the production team for that show because they are very talented people.
And how did you get connected? Like, how did you become a part of this?
Well, honestly, someone that I know through Central PA Beer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna careful of the tapping on the table.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Someone that I know through Central PA Beer, she reached out to me and said she had heard of the opportunity, but she was very camera shy. She runs this Instagram account, has a ton of followers. Someone approached her about it, and she said, I would never do that. She said, but I thought of you, so you should apply. And this was 2020. It was the end of 2020, so we're sort of getting through the pandemic, but I don't know what's going on. I've got a almost 1-year-old at that point, and like, okay, this could work, something part-time. Like I could make this work. And I literally went and had to film myself it was a video audition. I had to put my phone, what you're talking about, like doing the green screen stuff.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's around, right? Like I did so many takes of it. And then, so I literally just sent in the application and with that video, and they called me, did a couple interviews, and it was a go. And then after they got the funding for the next season, they said, we want you to host again. So
Cool.
I'm hoping that we can make it work again,
Yeah.
but it is very much grant funded. So we'll see. That is I was so emotional. We shot our very last episode with a brewery in Pittsburgh, and
Did you know it was your last one? Did you know that you were not going to get funding the next year?
Yes. By that point, yes, I did. And we went to Trace Brewing, and that is a really special place, very intentional place, just in a really cool neighborhood in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And they have a whole coffee shop concept that they work with. We shot there the day before, so it's this whole co-op thing, and both sides of that story were just so moving. And there's this awesome graffiti wall, and just there's a place where people can come and tag, so they're not tagging other places. I mean, and it's right along the side of that building, and just the whole thing. I was like, this is so perfect. I never want this to end. And it was a great last episode, but it was, we were all emotional. The crew were like, should we take a selfie? Like, and now we all do different stuff. These are people I saw all the time last year, and now I hardly ever see them. So we still check on each other.
But it's online. Like I told you, William Reed used to live in this building.
So cool.
So we, that night, like we got home. I don't know who found it. It was a video
Cole found that.
of him working at
Sam
Adams Brewery like 30 years ago. And it's like when you like put these things online, like they're always there. So then it's like, you exploring these breweries, it's just like always a part of like the brewing culture. It's cool.
Cool. I hadn't thought of that.
Well,
yet.
that's like we had the same conversation with Nate with Portland, PA. It was like the movie that came out. Like I had seen that movie like 8 years ago. Like when it got released, I saw it, and like now it's like it's a part of like the history of PA beer.
I wish they would do a sequel, because where are they now?
Definitely, we talked about
I was
that.
talking about that.
Yeah,
It would be something.
like so many things have changed.
It would be so cool. And tell the success stories, probably, Nate.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Positive vibes only.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, it's just really cool to get to connect with people, and you guys know, because it's literally what you're doing.
Yeah. So, what things can we push from like the BOP? Like, are there initiatives that we're trying to push? I know that, was it the Fritz bill that we're trying to get passed? We would love to get that guy on here.
Yeah, that would be cool. We're trying to get parity with wine and spirits. We're trying to have 5 storage locations instead of our 2 storage locations.
Yeah.
Wine and spirits have that under their manufacturing licenses, where they have more storage locations than we do. So we want parity there. But yeah, the other thing we're trying to do is make it to where it's easier for breweries to manufacture canned cocktails and use the same equipment to package them on, because right now it's very unfavorable. It's really tricky. And
there's too many weird laws. It's like you can do this, but you can't do that. And it's just like, all right, well, let's just get to common sense, I guess.
I think with a lot of these drinking trends being where they are right now, a lot of the most successful places are thinking of their portfolio in a little bit of a different way. We are brewers and we make great beer. That's why we're still around. But we need to make other stuff too, because we need to, you can't just ignore what consumers want. And with the NA push, which I've been reading is actually kind of dwindling down now. I just started seeing that this week. I don't know where those are coming
Did I
from.
call
If it's
this?
real,
I'm
like,
laughing because Richie's been saying how this has
Nobody.
been a
I
bubble
know
for
Zero Day
years
makes
now.
great NA beer, but I am so against like everyone pushing the NA beer, and it's going to die at some point. Like if you want to drink something that's non-alcoholic, there's tastier things than non-alcoholic beer.
so we don't make we make a ginger beer, but my
Okay.
favorite NA thing that we make is a hop water. And nobody tell me
yes,
somebody in
yes.
Philadelphia making hop water. I love Philadelphia
There's a-
breweries, but I cannot find a hop water while I'm in this city. And that is, I love a hop water as a spacer while I'm drinking. Like
0 calories.
yeah.
And the whole
But
thing
it's
about
still
being
bubbly,
healthy.
You're
Yes.
holding it.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh. And it's still using hops.
Yeah.
I first found them in Idaho when I was out there for hop harvest year before last.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. Like it's still in a can. I can walk around. It feels like I'm being social, but I'm not drinking 4 beers back to back.
Yeah.
I'm adding this other thing in between. And I love bubbles. So just anything bubbly.
And
But-
you can make so they'll not to tie craft beer into supplements because I feel like that's a dangerous game. But like there's stuff now that like it's like different whether it's funguses or like different like additives that help you whether like
Yeah.
now there's a huge push to, like somehow nicotine is now healthy for you instead of like
really?
not cigarettes but like people are taking nicotine like a supplement.
Really?
So yeah, and it's like you could make the argument that hops are healthy. Like there's no negative effects if it's just hop water.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have the calories. It's just like this like additive thing that hops somehow affect you a certain way. So I love the idea that like hop water should be what brewers are pushing, not the NA beer, because it's cheaper, it's easier, and it's just like you're not competing against yourself. It's different than beer.
And you're still using ingredients.
The hops,
that
which is
are-
that we built the craft beer industry built our whole industry off hops.
Yes. I love hop water, and I really hope someone in Philadelphia is making one right now.
Does Love City? I know they made the NA beer, but I thought that they.
Not that I can recall. Like
Okay.
I know actually Forgotten Boardwalk, they were in Jersey, they were making one, but they closed down like last year or something. But I don't know anybody that really pushes it.
Yeah. It's so interesting. We have a few places in Central PA who are doing them, but the science of it has been so fascinating to me, and it has been one of my favorite things to work on in this last year. I'm obsessed with
The
it.
funniest thing ever is like the RTDs, they always copy the brewers, but it's like they're trying to like distillers are trying to make like a beer level distilled spirit, with the RTDs. But now there's like White Claw, which is like seltzers. They're making like NA White Claws. I think that's
No.
Oh, yeah.
and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, what?
like and I couldn't tell if it was
so
a
they're
joke or not.
seltzer.
Yeah, but they're actually selling it and marketing it as like non-alcoholic White Claw.
But so it's
So
seltzer water.
So
Yeah.
seltzer.
Yes.
But it branded White Claw.
Yes.
People will buy the shit out of that.
Yeah, that's probably what like it probably has like flavoring in it or something. But it's the hop water is definitely something I'm behind. I'm all for that.
And it's not that easy to do well. I mean,
That's probably why people aren't making it. But
it's hard to figure out. I'm so proud of what ours tastes like, but getting it in cans is tricky.
you put it in cans.
We haven't yet.
Do you use it at the bar at all, like as a mixer and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It tastes so good though. It's like every day that's what I want. It's also fun to mix pre-workout with it. Sounds crazy.
That's funny. Carbonated pre-workout. Get jacked up.
It's really good.
So one thing I needed to ask about, since you've been all over PA, what are some of the differences between the PA and the Pittsburgh beer scene?
Like Philly versus Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I guess even Central PA, like put in Central PA too, because that's your real stomping ground.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that every region is very collaborative. I think there's a lot more saturation in Philly, where you see a lot more brewers bouncing between all these different places. In Central PA, it's pretty few and far between, like the jobs that you can work there. So I think there's a lot less of that crossover, but that still exists. But as far as what people are making and drinking, for me as a consumer, hop water is one of the number one things I notice that I do not like. I'm looking for that actively, and I see that in Central PA, and for some reason I do not see that in Philly or Pittsburgh, which is very surprising. But as far as, I mean, I feel like I see a lot of West Coast Pilsners everywhere right now. It seems like that's really caught on everywhere. I love them, but I don't know. As far as the scene goes, I feel like it's really collaborative all over the place. I mean, when I was in Pittsburgh shooting that episode of Cheers PA last fall, there was a show and so many, I went to Hitchhiker, I went to PACinderlands, and none of the brewers were there because they were all at this show with the brewers from Dancing Gnome. And I mean, like everybody was just
Like they were in a band?
like they were all hanging out and
That's cool.
at this, whoever it was, and having a blast, you know, like there's a lot of camaraderie in the bigger cities. Yeah, I don't know. You can drink Icy Light. No, what is that? Icy Light? Is that the Pittsburgh one, or is it
Icy Light Mango?
Icy Light. There we go. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Icy Light Mango is like Bud Light Lime in Pittsburgh. It's like the local. Icy Light is like the local. It's like a macro local small brewery.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like what's the one down in Baltimore?
Natty Bow.
It's like Natty Bow for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And then Philly has the citywide. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you've got these unique
niche things.
Yeah. But I don't know. I haven't spent enough time to see what the consumers are looking for. I just know what I'm looking for and how to go find that. I think that like Pittsburgh is very different from Philly in that you have to get into the neighborhoods. You have to go out to these unique neighborhoods in Philly in Pittsburgh, to really get a feel for these different eclectic pockets of culture. Whereas in Philly, it's much more walkable, and you can just kind of stumble in like, oh, I came from Yards, I'm at Human Robot, or I'm passing Love City, I'm gonna go to Triple Bottom. Like there's a lot more. It's much more walkable out here. So like in Pittsburgh, you have to be very intentional about where you're gonna go, but when you kind of figure that out, you're gonna get great beer, and that is very on purpose, you know, like you're seeking that out. But here, you can
The
just
one
find your
thing
way into it.
I kind of got the vibe at this BOP meeting that like a lot of city breweries are just like they're very walkable, but there was a lot of people there, obviously, that are like in very rural areas. And like their emphasis was very much like we have the same 20 people that come to our bar every single day. And it was like kind of different business tactics that they were using as far as, the way that they were describing their clientele was different than, not it's not that you have a faceless like customer here, but there's always new people here in the city, and it was just that I thought that was very interesting. Like there was a lot of people doing like mug clubs and kind of like these like bought-in things that were in these like more rural areas.
Yeah, like how do we support our regulars because they're the ones who keep our lights on versus people just finding their way into this space because of its location.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk of like, well, we changed this, and like everybody got upset.
We saw that at Zeroday, I would say. I mean, when we were a little bit further into Midtown, just like half a mile, I mean, you had to decide you were going there. Now our tap room is right across the street from the Capitol. So we have a little bit more of that, oh, here I am. This is a cool place to wind up. But it's still on a much smaller scale than here.
Yeah. I think She needs to. She might be just saying hello.
It's so hard for me. Like I raise her on my own. Like this is nuts. This is like my first day on the BOP job. I had to go to a Lancaster Brewers Guild meeting, and she came with me, and we walked in, and they're like, "We're closed." And I was like, "I know, I'm the speaker tonight." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Don't worry, I have like all this stuff for her," and she was great, but
She's gonna understand so much. She's gonna be a brewer.
so she's very technical, and she knows how to work a tri-clamp. She also did her first stand-up comedy set.
No way.
The other night at one of our locations, there was an open mic, and she got up there and did it. It's like a little independent movie theater attached to our brewery, but she did 5 original jokes. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I just hoped that she would get through one. I don't know where that confidence came from, because I sure don't have it. But she was just like, she was giggling, and then she just went right through.
That's fun.
So I put her in these situations, and I think it's making her a really well-rounded person. But just
Definitely.
we're gonna have fun tomorrow. Make it worth it.
Yes.
Full day in the city.
Yes, full day in the city.
Where do you normally go in Philly? I mean, I know you said you were at Human Robot before.
As far as breweries,
Yeah.
favorite. Oh, am I allowed to say favorite breweries? Yes, I am. Okay. Love City, Human Robot, Yards. Gosh, I love the vibe at Human Robot. And I know I can't take her in there tonight, so I'm not going to even try. But oh my gosh, like that is where I go. I bring anybody and everybody in or out of the industry. Like their beer is so good.
We had them on we had Chris Willer on last night, and yeah, it's just
And we asked him about the kid thing, and he was just like, yeah, like it's fine. Like people were coming in with like double wide strollers.
Yeah,
Just like acting like
it's
they
a
own the
tiny little
place.
space. Like, no,
Yeah.
you can't be doing. I get it. Like, I'm not. No hard feelings. But yeah, I haven't been to any location of theirs except the 5th Street location. So I think they have like 3 now.
They just
4
went
now?
up to
5. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But they're just the coolest people, and they're so humble. Their brewers are just so willing to share everything. And but Love City is just such a special place. We designed our bathrooms at our tap room after me explaining the Love City bathrooms. They are not exactly the same. The people who are on the design side of our new tap room, they're like, that sounds a little bit too big city, but we can take it to this.
It's so funny. It's like, why are we talking about these bathrooms? For like, you need to go. It's just like
You
simple.
Yes, but they're awesome people, and they make really great beer. I love going there. There are so many new places though that I need to go to. I went to Sacred Vice. I went there back in February when I was here.
It's a very homey feel there also.
Yeah, that was great. But yeah, and Yards is a staple, and it's so cool how they have the different spaces, and the location is just awesome. I get up here every single year for the German Beer Fest. So it's right across the street from there. That's always around my birthday. So I pretend it's my birthday celebration. I take the train, put all the beer on the train, and make it. I think there's only been 1 year. We've been going for the last 6 or 7 years.
So what festivals did you go to? I know you said you were at Log Jamming this year, and you're at Barrel and Flow.
Yeah.
Those are 2 big ones. Do you guys have like festivals you hit every year? Is there a festival in Harrisburg?
We have PA Flavor, so it's like a pairing food.
Okay, yeah,
beer.
yeah.
It's at the farm show. We always go to that one.
was there one at the Penn State Stadium?
Oh yes, the Hoppy Valley thing. That was
Yeah.
cool. That was really cool. Last year, that was on the football field. I think this year.
How's Anti-Fragile? Yeah, I saw you interviewed them, right?
Yeah.
I went to Penn State. I graduated in 2015, so they came after I was gone. But it's right downtown.
It is right downtown.
Yeah.
It's the only brewery downtown.
It was a beer bar before that. It was like some high-end beer bar where like they showed you like how much beer was in the barrels. It was very cool. But it just wasn't the vibe. And when they moved in, I said, this could go one or two ways. But they're there and they're crushing it. So
They are, yeah. They're making great beer. Their brewer, he's from Brazil. He is awesome. He is so smart and so willing to share anything.
That's
how
cool.
most brewers are, you know.
Yeah.
But I met John, their owner, not randomly. It was through BOP, but we were sitting at the bar at the Hilton in Harrisburg, and this was before he opened. And he said, "I make kombucha, but I'm going to open a brewery." And I was like, "Okay, like that's awesome. Go you. I'm so proud of you. I believe in you." And it was just like a very one-time conversation. And then less than a year later, this thing opens up and I was like, oh my gosh, that's that guy. Like I know him from this bar conversation. And they are crushing it. And they really put on an awesome festival too. I went the first year. I didn't get to go this year. I couldn't back-to-back weekends of festivals. But yeah, that's a cool one. We always try to make it to Kennett, and we love the Lidditz Festival too. That one's just there are some festivals where they have to have that like niche thing now, you know.
Yeah.
But there are some where it's like we're
just
still
run really
drinking
well.
beer in a parking lot, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. And
yeah. I don't think that there's anything special about the Kennett one. It's just, I mean, they have like the special town with the special beer, but there's nothing special about it. It's run perfectly.
That's one of those parking lot fests that is worth it.
Yeah.
Lidditz is the same way. It's still that old style of beer fest, but it's an honor to be there alongside of, and it's
They have like
just
70
so
breweries
organized,
too.
and you can get so many great beers. Like sitting there drinking Lawson's in a parking lot in Central PA. Like I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what is there to look forward to Zeroday? I mean, you guys are just opening up. I feel you guys are expanding quickly. So I see your name more and more everywhere.
Yeah. We just got into distribution. So
There you go.
that has been fun to navigate.
Are you going to be in Philly at all? You trying to?
Hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal for sure. I want to be in Philly. I want to be in Pittsburgh. I want to be all across the state, right? But right now we're working with a wholesaler in central Pennsylvania and navigating that. It's pretty new, just a couple months into the contract, but
Cool.
it has been
Is that
its
just a
own
lot
animal.
more cans?
Sorry?
A lot more cans then? Because like before you were just doing kegs, right?
Well, I mean, we got our canning line in 2020, so we've been
Okay.
canning beer, and we were self-distributing. So we've been canning beer, we've been kegging beer, selling it all out in the market. But now we're working with a wholesaler, so navigating
It's completely different.
it's completely different. The flow of production has just changed.
Yeah.
So
Makes your life
at a
easier,
very
but then
fun
you're
time when
dealing
I
with,
started
like-
another job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
My brain is doing great right now. You guys are listening to me, meeting me at a really good time.
What a no.
No, it's not bad. It is a good thing, but it is one, like when you're self-distributing, you're planning your batches and you kind of know your flow. When you're selling to a wholesaler, they're picking stuff up and you don't know when they're going to pick up again. And they might say, oh, we'll take as much of this, but you don't really know. And it's so new into it that it's just kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And my job is literally to plan. So I'm really ready for some data so we can kind of get back into that flow.
Definitely. It takes like one headache off, but then you're doing it's just a different.
It's a whole different beast. And I know that we'll find that flow, but it is, there's going to be a really awesome presentation at the symposium this November that is directed towards smaller breweries looking to get into wholesale and things to prepare yourself for and how you can set yourself up for success. It is a great thing to do.
Do you know who's giving that presentation yet?
I do.
You don't want to say it yet?
I I think I'm allowed. It's it's Brad from Wallenpaupack and
Cool.
Scott from Iron Hill.
Cool.
Yeah. I think it'll be great. And I think it's something that a lot of places need to hear. Not to deter anybody from doing it, because it is a great growth opportunity.
It's good to hear from Iron Hill because they were not distributing and they are a very well run company. And then they got to see it kind of. I'm sure that there was, a lot of stuff that they weren't used to, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
It shakes stuff up in a way that all sides of the business need to really be prepared for. And it's a lot. But yeah, so we are pushing our stuff out there in a few new to us counties that we weren't in before, I guess. But we have our seasonal stuff, our pumpkin beer, which is my little favorite baby. That drops next week. But I brought our fest lager.
This is great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
October's the best time for beer.
Right? I know. I love our pumpkin beer. I worked for people who hated pumpkin beers. And it wasn't until like the third year into brewing where I said, I like them. I kind of want to make one. Is that okay? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's fine. Like, what do you think? And ours is more, it's like a pumpkin pie inspired. So it's got all these like flavors of pumpkin pie and then like a little bit of spice, but like it's got all these fun malts that just give it the crust and the, like, we don't put pumpkins in it or anything, but it's just such a balanced, beautiful beer. It sounds so silly to talk about a pumpkin beer like that, but it is so good. And it's going into cans.
Everyone, I think it's just easy to hate on. Everyone hates on pumpkin spice lattes, but they are delicious.
They are. Like, it's just that thing. But I am that girl, so it's fine. I'll be that basic pumpkin person. I don't care. I love pumpkin beer.
We are not judging because I'm one of them also.
Podcast. Ours is called Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I love that. Do you name the beers?
Oh, so many of us. We have a Google sheet, a running document that we just randomly put names on. Most of them appear in the middle of the night.
Yeah, when you're creating
you're just you're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and then nobody really knows who put it on there. But yeah, that's how we name a lot of beers, is just going back to that document, like, what are we going to call this beer? But sometimes whole beer concepts are inspired by a name, so. But usually it's a collective effort. That is probably the hardest part of making beer, is what do you call it and what does the label look like?
That's fun. Cool. Do you have anything else you want to push? Sign up for Brewers if you're a brewer, or if you want to sponsor the BOP.
Yes. Sign up to be a part of the Brewers of Pennsylvania. Come to our symposium in Harrisburg, November 2nd through 4th. We have a really big, fun announcement that day, those days. We're going to shake some things up, and it'll be worth being there.
Cool.
We're also doing a new, like, bring a friend concept. So non-member breweries can come to the symposium and still pay the member brewery price. So you don't have to sign up to become a member before coming to the symposium, and you don't have to pay the non-member brewery price. You have a brewery who's bringing you along, vouching for you. I'll vouch for you.
We were talking about this the last meeting. It just makes sense. Like, once you go there, you realize the value of it. Yeah. It is not, of all the money that you can spend on investing, like, this is going to raise the bar of what you can do so much.
Yes. Yeah. It's important for us to stick together. And then follow me, Beer Making Mama. I am a mom of an awesome 5-year-old, so that's where that handle came from.
Who's looking at us right now?
Who's actually here right now and has been surprisingly patient, but she's ready to take on Philadelphia, so we're going to go get it.
Thank you for coming on. And we also follow Zeroday. Is it Zeroday Beer, Zeroday Brewing?
Zeroday Brewing.
Zeroday Brewing on social media. And then follow us at Brewdat, at the Brewdat Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sweet.
Cool.
Guys, thank you.